Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Hello and welcome to Creative Ghettos, the show that explores various creative industries and profiles the Africans who push them forward. Each week I spend 30 minutes unveiling excellent and inspiring individuals within creative industries, including but not limited to fine art, architecture, design, food, film and publishing. My name is Kwanele Kunene. Thank you for joining me right here on brandlive.co.za. My guest today is Roxanne Ferreira, the founder of interior design practice Arrange Studio. In her pursuit of happiness and creative freedom, she's seen herself packing up her whole life and moving across the country twice, work odd jobs, some better than others, and finally become the type of designer you want to keep close tabs on. Her journey is like a thrilling movie, and you must only pay attention to know what's next. Roxanne, welcome to Creative Ghettos.
Hi, Kwanele. Thank you so much for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Yes.
I hope you didn't upsell my pitch too much.
No, can I tell you, you are an exact reflection of your website. Like everything that you promise on your site and even your Instagram account, this is exactly how you look. It's incredible.
My brand impersonated and all the kind of color and pattern and everything.
Yes, it's like a continuation. Okay, so, I want to start from your journey when you were a student at the University of Pretoria. Take me through Pretoria and towards your big break at ELLE Décoration in Cape Town. Big break in the sense that you got hired to, to be in an environment that mirrored the idea.
Yeah, kind of how I organically or haphazardly ended up where I was supposed to be. I guess while studying, it's kind of, you learn a lot about yourself and about what you like and quite also importantly what you don't like. Studying at Tux was an amazing opportunity to really be surrounded by so much knowledge and expertise, and especially lots of all your other fellow students. And that taught me how to kind of push yourself past. You don't know what you're going to end up doing without trying things first.
Yeah.
Really just workshop through that. After studying, I kind of jumped straight into work. It's one of those you kind of undersell yourself, so you don't know what you're good at yet, so you just kind of take anything that you can. Even though in the back of your mind you almost feel like, oh, maybe this is a little bit of a bad deal, or this is a raw hand, you just take it and you're like, okay, cool, I can do this, and you prove to yourself you can be in the workforce and you can contribute. And working at a company, I was doing, so it was I guess I should just go back a little to studying.
Yeah.
Basically, the degree was like fashion and business and marketing and accounting all rolled into one, which was brilliant because it set you up to have a very broad base, like a very broad kind of background to understand business and a little bit of the design and textiles. So the company that I started at was like the middleman between large retailers in South Africa and the production houses.
From a fashion point or from a furniture point?
Okay. From a fashion point, and that really taught me a lot about quality control, production lines, doing your planning, your buying. But I hated every minute. It was absolutely gut-wrenching to work with the studio in China where you don't see the people who are making your clothes. You have no idea. You kind of are you're just turning the dime. You're not connecting with the people or your customers, or there's no kind of design, it's like Groundhog Day. And I just realized that this isn't something that I want to do with my life, and also how a company should never, kind of treat its employees. It was one of those, like, you're too scared to get up off your desk just to quickly, like, grab a bar out of your drawer, or, you can never kind of, if I go to the bathroom, I get kind of panicky. I'm like, have I been away for 2 minutes? Oh my gosh, I'm going to get fired.
How long were you there for? It sounds awful.
Well, it was 2 years, but I guess 2 years too long.
Yeah.
But I don't regret starting there, because kind of like starting start at the bottom. You really, after that, you kind of just can get better and get better opportunities and really know how to push yourself further than you thought you could go. But while working there, it gives you a lot of time. You know, sometimes when you do something, you start daydreaming about what it is that you actually really want to do, kind of like productive procrastination. And that's what I found. I started thinking back to when I was smaller and what I actually really liked to do in my downtime was always my fondest memories was going to kind of like open days, you know, to show houses.
Yeah.
Just walking into people's homes and seeing like, wow, this is how they live, or kind of this is their garden, this is their front door, breaking that kind of that facade between on the outside what you can see from street level and how people live, like how this kind of family operates on the inside. And I mean, even now I drive my husband crazy. I would say, okay, cool, let's, you know, quickly go for a walk or a drive around the block. And then I would just pull into like a random, like a building site or maybe someone's house who left the gate open, and he would be like, what on earth are you doing?
So you're a little creepy.
I'm a little bit creepy. I'm a little bit of like a voyeur. I mean, guys, like if you see me coming down the street, like hold your kids back.
Yeah. Lock your doors.
I just found that fascinating. It's how people interact with their environment, how their built environment almost. So I realized, and even like when I was small, my favorite pastime would be, you know, rearranging furniture at my parents' house, or spring cleaning, building furniture, setting up a little shop where I sold things to my sisters. I mean, shame, that must have been terrible. So there was always this kind of like entrepreneurship in me. So then I started searching after that job in Johannesburg for 2 years. I started looking high and low, and I found an opening at ELLE Décoration in Cape Town, and I just decided this was a perfect opportunity for me to really get to jump straight into the interior world, world of kind of architecture and furniture design, and really being hands-on with materials and what is going on in South Africa in the design industry with the incredible craftsmanship that we have here, which is so kind of it's so intrinsic to South Africa. You can only find it here. There's this vibrancy, this kind of diverse level of different kind of experiences and backgrounds that all come together in this kind of melting pot, which is just unbelievable. And I found I really wanted to tap into that. So working at ELLE Décoration was amazing. I mean, I really it was overnight. I'm moving to Cape Town, kind of met my now husband a month before, and I was like,
are you serious?
Sorry,
everything at one time?
All
wow.
At once. I don't know how that works. So it was kind of, 3 months of not doing anything, really just faxing my CV to places, because that's still what people accepted. Obviously never heard back. I don't even think the fax machines worked, but I was there at the library, like printing copies, faxing it to them. I finally got the Cape Town job, loaded everything into my car. Luckily, one friend her roommate had just moved out, and when she heard I was coming back, she took everything, but she left the mattress, so I could, it's just a little spot for Roxanne, for a girl we don't even know. Yes. Let this voyeur in, let her stay here.
And how was it like? What was your role like at ELLE Décoration? What are some of the things that you had to do?
It started out, it was basically like a internship, which also was kind of like an apprenticeship, I would call it, because the team is so small. You always see this, you don't have an idea in the publishing industry what it looks like. Working for Vogue, you see these beautiful offices in The Devil Wears Prada, or at Glamour magazine. I mean, even the name says it all. Then you rock up to this office, and everyone is lovely, but there are only 4 people working there in a tiny office, or 5, or whatever. And it's kind of like that makes you really work together in terms of, okay, cool, today you're going out on a shoot, you're sourcing all the products, like the furniture designing. Tomorrow you're going to this new amazing kind of barista who opened Truth Coffee or whatever, and you're going to go interview him, and you're going to take the photos. It's like, okay, and you get back, cool, you're going to edit this spread for us, or you're going to do this flat lay, or you're going to go find amazing woven product in Cape Town. And then you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, cool, I'll do it. Get in the car, have a little cry, and then, you put something in your GPS and you go and you find it, and you just kind of figure it out. It's really that like fake it till you make it. And it's that, I learned that like baptism by fire is such an underrated or overrated saying. It is so important. Like, I learned so much there that it just set me up for my next kind of 5 years following that stint. I would have probably stayed in Cape Town because it was such a brilliant experience being there, especially not that Cape Town's better than Joburg. It was just that I grew up in Gauteng. So I was already quite familiar with everything here. So that was a new experience. It was really cool to kind of learn.
And culturally as well.
Culturally, exactly.
Yeah. which can influence a lot of your
Of course. I mean,
design inspiration.
Yes, being surrounded, or being in that little bowl between the mountain and the ocean, it just does something to your brain and to your experience. So kind of I realized that I really do like my now husband more than I kind of thought.
So you came back here.
So I came back here and I was like, listen here, the stakes are high. Like you better make us worth a while.
Yes. So actually, I wanted to speak about your husband. And when I heard about your relationship with your husband, I just thought, oh my word, you're like a creative in the truest sense. You're never really boxing yourself in one industry. You collaborated with your husband, who's a filmmaker. The two of you have done a short film and music videos together. Why is it important that you practice your creative skills in spaces outside of your line of work?
It teaches you so much. It forces your mind to think outside of the box, to really explore different avenues. While working with him on different projects, be it, I mean, at the moment we're doing a documentary together, which is brilliant, and it flexes other muscles in your brain where you try and push your own limitations. You work with different people, and that's what's really important to me, is not just to work with other designers or other makers. You come across people from all different walks of life. And that's something that really kind of stimulates you, and you get so much from each other. It's this give-take relationship where you can learn from each other, especially if it's something that you're not really trained to do. You rely on other people, and you have to let your guard down and really just kind of be unafraid to embarrass yourself or to put yourself out there and say, okay, actually, I don't know everything. Help me. Like, let's figure this out together. And then at the end of the day, once you've actually made something and you can see the results of your hard work, you're like, wow, you can actually achieve something, even though you didn't even know you were able to do that in the beginning or setting out to do it. And that's what I really enjoy. But especially with the kind of stuff that I did with my husband, a lot of it was production design, which perfectly ties together my kind of fashion background and the design that I now have. You're kind of like more interior field, be it with the wardrobe that you do and the sets that you build, and having to wing it, make a plan to get dry ice at 2 a.m. on a shoot, or to drive in a car and buy like cigarettes even though you don't smoke, and say, hi, can I please have a pack of cigarettes? This is like, which kind? I'm like, I don't know, the kind you smoke. So I'm such a dork. I mean, it's really embarrassing. Like, my husband says I'm the biggest dork ever. But you just have to learn to embrace it, and to not be embarrassed by it. And I love that. It's kind of that I'm quite a known procrastinator, and when you're working on a set or with other people and you have set deadlines, you can't let your own procrastination get in the way.
But the adrenaline, just
adrenaline is incredible.
It's
and every
amazing.
time you're done and you've done something and you've worked kind of through the night, or it was so crazy and you feel like you got a stomach ulcer, you're like, I'm never doing that again. And like 2 weeks later, woo, let's go for it. It's like, I'm here, like, let's do it.
So tell me, after ELLE, where did you go? You came back to Gauteng, and where did you work after that? Or did you go straight into your own company?
No, I was kind of, I was lucky enough to find work at this incredible interior architecture firm. They did interior design and architecture. And it was a wonderful team because they were still quite small then. And they allowed me to really grow into my own role, or to kind of develop the role that I did with them on my own or through them. So it's kind of basically...
It's like a creative's dream.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just this perfect... But it's that I'm sure, Kwanele, you also found it, like, some people you just really can resonate with, and you just click, like, your personalities, and you just work together so well. It's just like an organic kind of relationship, a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
And with them, I really found that, because you weren't... I would work really long hours for them, and I wasn't afraid to do it, because you just felt like you were both kind of working towards the same goal. And I did a lot of kind of procurement, space planning, furniture design with them. And we worked on some amazing projects in Africa, in Mozambique, in Botswana. And that was such a great opportunity to get to travel a bit and see more of the country and our like incredible neighboring countries. But while working there, I always felt like I've always known I actually want to start my own business and have my own company. Yeah. It was something that I just kind of, when you're little, some girls dream of kind of wedding dresses. I dreamt of like having a little, like a business card and sitting at a desk and being like professional businesswoman.
Yes.
And luckily they understood, and it was also so that I could have flexible hours that I could that enabled me to do all of these collaborations with my husband on the side. And they were so open to it. I'm lucky enough that now, even after leaving, I started Arrange Studio towards the end of 2016, so it's been just over a year and a half now.
And actually, with Arrange Studio, I want to speak about that after the
Yeah.
break. Okay, we're going to take a really short ad break right now. I'll have more with Arrange Studios' Roxanne Ferreira.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Brandlive.co.za is thought leadership radio. It's a new way to communicate your brand, your value, and what we think about your industry. Be a leader, be a voice, and we will help you shape your industry. Our radio platform is for thought leaders who want to share insights, businesses who want to create value for their databases, organizations who want to control their message, for those that drive change. Make your brand come alive on brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of talk radio.
brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back from the break. I'm sitting here with Roxanne Ferreira, who is the founder and owner of Arrange Studio, which is an interior design company based right here in Johannesburg. Roxanne, before the break, we were speaking about your entire journey towards getting to beginning your company, which is a phenomenal company in my eyes anyways. Tell me about starting Arrange Studio. Were you nervous? What are some of the thoughts you had streaming through your mind before you started and as you were beginning to get yourself in the flow of things?
Absolutely petrified. I mean, it was one of those, in your mind, you know this is something you want to do, and you kind of, you know you'll be good at it because it's something you've wanted to do for so long, but still you're like scared shitless. I'm sorry, I don't know if I want to say it. Can just edit that out. Yeah. I was absolutely like weak at the knees. It felt like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I don't know how to run a business. I don't know how to be on my own. But at some point, you just have to stop overthinking and start doing.
Yeah.
And just be like, okay, cool, I got this. Even if you don't, like, just say, I got this. And you just work through the days in terms of, like, you make a list. I make so many lists. I make lists of my lists.
I mean, you've got a list right in front of me.
I've got a list right here. Yeah. I haven't even looked at it because it's so badly written. I'm like, what did I even jot down here?
Yeah.
It's one of those that just kind of gives your mind a little bit of, I don't know, something to look at and to plan what your next steps are. Because it constantly feels like my left brain and my right brain are in this crazy battle between, okay, cool, you know what you have to do, but then my right brain is like, let's rather do this instead. So to keep me from getting sidetracked, I just kind of like plummeted into it, and it was amazing because it just kind of grew organically. It was one of those kind of word of mouth things where word just got out from one satisfied client who was happy with the work I was doing with them, recommended me to someone else that they knew, and it just kind of grew from there.
That's always fortunate. the scary point for anyone who really wants to be independent.
Yes.
When they start, they're just like, how am I going to get to a level that is bringing in money that that is satisfactory for my day-to-day living needs,
yes,
and also to allow my business to grow. So a lot of people don't start because of concerns like that. Yeah, and am I going to be good enough?
Exactly. That's always a thing. Am I good enough? Because I feel like we're our own worst critics. We're so critical of ourselves. And that's important to an extent to really, make sure that the quality you put out there is of a high enough standard. But sometimes that can be debilitating. You just feel like you're stuck and you can't do anything because nothing that you're going to do is going to be good enough. But you have to start somewhere.
So your company is pretty young. I mean, this year marks its 2nd anniversary.
Woo!
Congratulations. Hey. How are you able to navigate around the big dogs of the industry?
It's tough. You're like this little fish swimming in this massive pond, and oftentimes you find that a lot of the bigger kind of dogs have already set up their I don't want to say pound.
But you just
That is a terrible analysis. It's not like that at all. I just mean like they have their set of structures, and obviously as you work on a project, you team up or you partner with brilliant other kind of creators or makers, and you all have your own set team. So going into a new project, it's kind of like if you're not on the in already, it's really tough to break through that and to get there. But I found with if you just kind of stick to what you really want to do, like the kind of jobs that you want to do, you align yourself with other designers and makers and incredible brands who you want to work with, and just say like, guys, what kind of collaboration can we do? How can we make this work? And you do that groundwork in terms of putting yourself out there to try and perhaps do a job on your own that might not be so financially rewarding, but it's kind of the direction that you want to go in. That might lead to a financially rewarding job on the other side. So you can't go into it thinking this is, you're going to say no to this job because actually it's beneath you or not something that you want to do, but it's something that's going to help you in the next step.
And what kind of jobs do you like to do?
I really love the jobs where you get the opportunity to work in conjunction with local designers and makers and really explore our craftsmanship that's available here. I mean, we have such incredible weaving and beading and...
Please name a few people because we have to know these people. I swear to you, it's so hard to find out who are these amazing creators. Yeah.
I mean, Kunene, I have to send you a list, like a little breakdown. I'll do like a little spreadsheet and say, cool, beadwork of this person, or drive to this kind of area and then ask for Sam, and then he'll come out and he'll bring you or whatever. And then
come out from a dark corner.
Get in there, and you just hit him, and he jumps in the car, and you explain to him what you're kind of working on or what you want to have done.
Yeah.
And it's nurturing that. It's not sticking to the big guys. It's really giving an opportunity to someone who's also who's up and coming and is trying to set up their business, who's maybe come from a larger company first and now are going out on their own.
Yeah.
It's to kind of trust them and really try and work with them, even if at the beginning it's a little bit harder than just going to a shop and buying something. It's putting in that.
But that's the point.
Exactly.
The more we know about everyone who's working within these different industries, the more we're able to fall in love with the different ideas that exist, because they come from, I mean, if we have a lot of people showing what it is that they do, we're able to fall in love with so many other different aspects, not just the one thing that you see at every single store. It's like, it just irks me.
It's like this Pinterest explosion everywhere you look. I mean, we're living in this kind of... I just wish we could go back to the analog days where you saw something beautiful in a magazine or at a friend's house or somewhere on the street. It's not just something that's on your phone. That's just so easily accessible, and it's become oversaturated. We're just so tired. People don't want to see the same thing over and over and over again. So you really have to just work a little harder and push a little further to break away from that.
Okay, so for you, very quickly, what are some of the things outside of budget that you consider before you begin your design process? Do you have a specific procedure that you follow for every project?
I guess the most important thing to take into consideration is your client and your client's needs. So for me, it's very important to spend a lot of time with the client and really understand the client, be it a singular person in a residential project or maybe with the project team if it's hospitality, and really understand what the needs and the daily kind of coming and goings are of the company or the house or the whatever, to make sure that what you design is something that is considered, that you consider their living environment and how it's something that can really, I guess...
elevate, like
exactly something that can innovate but also enhance their living experience. I mean, we so much about us is how we interact with our spaces and our environment and the textures and the colors and stuff that we don't really, that subconsciously you just feel like you're in a better mood if you're in this space, or immediately if you walk into a beautifully designed restaurant or bedroom, it just feels like you can live better there. And that's something that I really take into consideration first and foremost, if budget weren't an option.
I know budget is always, whenever you ask someone that question, so what is the first thing you consider? Budget. and to date, what would you say has been your best project?
Best, I guess for me, one of the highlights would definitely be a very small or project that I worked on with my previous company. It was on a tiny remote island in Mozambique. I mean, it took you like 5 flights and a boat ride and a tiny aeroplane where you're only 2 people. It was me and my colleague and the electrician sitting with this box of plugs and stuff in the middle of the plane, and we couldn't take off because we were so heavy. So we had to throw out one of the seats. That project really stood out because it was one of those. Not only did you have to consider the budget and the user experience, but also the logistics of getting things to such a remote island where everything can only come by plane, or you actually have to get it there by a massive dhow, which are the local, like the wooden boats the Mozambicans use, or a massive kind of container. And it was an incredible experience because we didn't have a lot of budget. So I ended up spending lots of my time walking on the beach, picking up driftwood, making a massive chandelier because we didn't have any time or money to build something. And that's that hands-on experience and thinking, you really have to push outside of the box to create something. And then you're so proud of yourself. It's like, wow, this, and people really respond to that. And they enjoyed that kind of makeshift chandelier more than the beautifully designed furniture that we ended up doing, which is something that you didn't set out to do, but it surprises you.
Okay, and lastly, what does the next level for Arrange Studio look like?
Very excited. Part of why it was called Arrange Studio to begin with was basically, it's kind of a little play on rearranging stuff. For lack of all the better words that I could literally just think of on this podcast.
Yeah. Arranging stuff.
It's arranging stuff. It was basically the range. I am working on a range of furniture and lighting, which is something that I've been wanting to do for very, very long. I'm so happy because I feel that there's this massive gap in the market for something that is truly South African and African and really resonates with everyone living here and everyone abroad. Like once you see it, you can be like, wow, that is South African. But the quality and the standard is absolutely incredible.
Okay, we cannot wait. I can't wait to see that happen. It's something that I've been wanting to see from a lot of, African designers. And finally, you're a part of the new crew of people who are going to put out some dope stuff. Right, Roxanne Ferreira, thank you so much for stepping in today and being so open and honest. Your story is fun and inspiring, and your work is also absolutely dreamlike. Awesome. Visit www.arrangestudio.co.za to see the amazing projects Roxanne has done, and also follow Arrange Studio's Instagram page at arrange_studio. To find out more about the Africans who drive various creative industries forward, make sure to follow Creative Ghettos on Instagram at Creative Ghettos. My name is Kwanele Kunene. Join me again next week, Friday, from 2 to 2:30 p.m. for another impactful show. Bye for now.
The Dramatic Talk with myself, Bongani Drama. Bringing you insightful conversations on the Convo Corner, your latest celebrity news on Dramatainment, and your latest fashion news on Stash and Fade.
This is Bongani.
And myself, Rose Rataka, bringing you your latest news and sports updates.
Every Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. Only on www.brandlive.co.za.